Welcome back. So today we're using a tool, flaring tool, and to a lot of folks these things are a little overwhelming, and I'm not entirely sure why. I've made lots of flares, I guess, maybe. And what that really is this end right here. So what we're working on is over here in my bench, or in my vise here. I've got the directional control valve for what's going to be on my tractor, but you find these on log splitters and tractors and farm equipment, and just, it's for hydraulics, plain and simple. You can get them in stainless steel, you can use them for water. This one is going to be for oil, so it's all just carbon steel. But if you look at these ends, how this is, you notice there's the line, there's what looks like a collar of some kind, the nut, and then the fitting. So if we come back over here to our bench, I have exactly that right here. So if this will fall apart for me, and we'll just store that on the floor. But this is the nut portion. So this has the threads, and all this does is pushes on the sleeve portion. So some varieties don't require the sleeve, and all that does is it's got a little angle on the inside here. And what that does for you is that just pushes against your tubing. And that helps create the seal against the opposite side of the flare and the fitting end. This is all for high pressure stuff or higher pressure stuff. We're talking, this particular one's going to run about 1500 psi. So I'm going to go through the process here. I'll reset, and we'll talk about the flaring tool and how to use it properly. So we've gone ahead and done step 1 and 2. So step 1 is to deburr the inside of your pipe, or your tube, I guess in this case, using a deburring tool, simple cone. This does inside, outside. Inside is very important for hydraulic fittings, high pressure stuff. You can cause turbulence, and obviously the burr can come free, and a metal burr inside of a hydraulic system could be a bad thing. So, and then step 2 is install your tube essentially flush with the top surface of your flaring tool. Now, this is again for a 37-degree flare. If you're making a 45 on some brake lines or something like that, you're going to want to follow the instructions for that particular style. So I've gone ahead and put the flaring tool over here in the bench vise. And if you look, there's an arrow in here, and that lines up with these holes, and that's how you clamp the tube into the tool. And simply put, once you're lined up, you can just crank this handle down, and you will feel a decent amount of resistance. And at one point, at the very end of the travel, there's a slip, if you will, or a clutch, as they'll call it in the book. But all that it really is there's a little dog right here, and that little dog catches into a hole, and whenever it slips, there's an angle on it, and once it has slipped, you just turn it backwards, catch back in the hole, and release the tool from the operation. It's a little tough to do just one hand here, but making do. I like to take this, back it off all the way, undo your clamp. If the vise wasn't in the way, this also slides really quickly. And we'll move this out of the way. And you can see, got a nice flare in there. Pushed out, proper angle. Angle is set by the end of the tool itself. And we're ready to install. And hopefully you learned a thing or two here. Don't be afraid of these flares. Get the proper tools, and you too can make this stuff in your garage. Thanks. Have a good day wherever you are. See you soon.